There are tons of benefits to going vegetarian, but also some disadvantages you might want to consider before diving in. If you're interested in starting a vegetarian diet or just curious about learning a little bit more, stick around because in this video we're going to talk about the best advantages of going vegetarian and also some of the disadvantages you might want to be aware of. Let's get started. Hi, I'm Bailee and I've been a vegetarian for 14 years. Plus, I have a YouTube channel called The Vegetarian Guide. So, spoiler alert, I think that there are more advantages to going vegetarian than there are disadvantages. But in this video, I'm going to show you the pros and the cons so that you can weigh them and decide if a vegetarian diet is right for you and your lifestyle. Let's talk about the benefits of going vegetarian first. The first advantage is that going vegetarian can be really, really healthy. If you're cutting meat out of your diet and you're replacing it with lots of vegetables, healthy plant-based proteins, whole grains, really good nutritious foods, then what happens is that you end up reducing your risk of heart disease, lowering your cholesterol, lowering your blood pressure, reducing your risk of certain types of cancer, reducing your risk of diabetes, maintaining or even lowering your weight more easily. There are tons of health benefits to going vegetarian, and all it takes is cutting meat out of your diet and making sure that you're replacing it with lots of well-balanced nutrition. Advantage number 2 is that you help the animals. So, of course, by not eating meat, you are reducing the amount of animals that have to be killed on your behalf to put them onto your plate to eat. But also by not purchasing meat, you're sending a signal to the animal agricultural industry that there is a lower demand for animals to make meat. And of course, that takes some animals out of those pretty horrific situations that they find themselves in our agricultural system. Things like pigs living in crates and getting their tails docked, cows that are living on top of each other in CAFOs, chickens that are also just not even getting a chance to go outside and see sunshine. There are lots of crappy things in our animal agricultural industry, and by not eating meat, you are saying no to that and therefore helping the animals. Advantage number 3 is that you significantly reduce your environmental impact. So by cutting meat out of your diet, you reduce your environmental footprint by about 50%. So that means that you could be running around riding your bike, turning off lights, planting trees, doing all these other things. But the single most important thing that you can do to reduce your individual environmental impact on our planet is to stop eating meat. The animal agricultural industry contributes the most greenhouse gas emissions, even more than the transportation sector. It is the leading cause of deforestation. There's pollution in our water that comes from the runoff from all of these animal facilities. There's lots of environmental problems that come from eating meat. And by not doing that, you, of course, give your vote into the world that you want that to stop. This next one gets a little tricky. I'm going to lump it as both a disadvantage and an advantage. And that is the ease of lifestyle with eating a vegetarian diet. So if you are comparing a vegetarian diet to a regular meat eating diet that you're probably used to, then yes, it is a little bit more restrictive. You have fewer options on your menu when you go to the restaurant. You have to rethink the way that you're putting meals together and find new recipes. It can be a little bit more challenging than your diet that you're used to now. And in that sense, it's a disadvantage. However, if you're comparing it to other diets like veganism, for example, then it definitely isn't the worst diet out there as far as lifestyle restrictions goes. You don't have to necessarily read labels to see that everything you have doesn't have animal products in it. You still do usually have options on restaurant menus. You can still go to your friend's house and they can prepare vegetarian foods for you compared to other diets like veganism where you are even more restricted and have even fewer options. So in that sense, it actually is an advantage compared to a lot of other diets. So if you're totally with me so far and you're loving all of these benefits and you know that a vegetarian diet is right for you, then please be sure to grab my free guide, Secrets to Vegetarian Success, that has hacks and tips that will help you get started with your vegetarian diet easily and be able to sustain it long term. I will include the link for that in the description box below. Please be sure to grab that so you can make going vegetarian easy and enjoyable. But if you're still a little skeptical and you really want to know about those disadvantages too, let's get into those. Disadvantage number 1 is that you have to pay more attention to the nutrients that you're getting on a vegetarian diet compared to when you're eating meat, at least in the beginning. So, of course, the one that everyone talks about is protein. You need to be sure that you're getting enough protein on a vegetarian diet compared to when you're eating meat. This doesn't have to be stressful. There's protein in lots and lots of foods that are plant-based or vegetarian. You can use tofu, lentils, beans, Greek yogurt, eggs, whole grains. There are proteins in tons and tons of foods, so it's not something that you have to stress about. However, you do need to be a little bit more aware of this. Also, some nutrients like iron and B12, there are things that you have to watch for on your vegetarian diet to make sure that you're being healthy that you might not have otherwise had to think about when you were eating meat. However, there are things that you get when you're eating meat, like high cholesterol and high saturated fat, for example, that you don't have to worry about as much on a vegetarian diet. If you want to learn how you can be healthy on a vegetarian diet and make this disadvantage go away completely, then please be sure to watch this video that has 5 tips on how to eat a well-balanced, healthy vegetarian diet. Disadvantage number 2 is that you have to be more prepared in social settings. So unlike when you're eating meat, you can't always just go to a dinner party and expect that your host has made a meal for you. You can't always go to restaurants and expect that there's something on the menu for you. You have to be a little bit more prepared. And that might mean that you have to call your host ahead of time and ask if they're willing to make something for you, or if you can bring your own food or a dish to share to make sure that you have something to eat. Or it might be going online and checking out the restaurant menus before you get there to make sure that there's something you can eat. Or it might even mean that you have to eat before or after an event. These are things that you have to get used to. You'll learn how to do it over time. Again, it's not something that should stress you out totally, but it is a disadvantage compared to a regular meat eating diet. If you're interested in learning how you can navigate these social situations as a vegetarian without any stress, please be sure to check out this video. It will make going vegetarian easy so you can still enjoy parties and have fun with your friends and your family when you're out. And disadvantage number 3 is that there is a learning curve to going vegetarian. And this is actually the one I think that probably stops most people from doing it. They understand the benefits, they know the benefits, but this disadvantage of having to get over that initial hurdle of going vegetarian is what stops a lot of people, because it is a bit of a hurdle. There is a learning curve. Going vegetarian is not just taking the meat off your plate, it's learning a whole new lifestyle. There are lots of skills that you have to learn, there are habits that you have to build in order to make this diet last for you long term so you can enjoy all of those benefits that we talked about before. But I want to tell you that it does not have to be difficult. You can get over this learning curve easily, especially if you grab the Vegetarian Guide, which is my signature mini course for new vegetarians. It has all of the information, all of the tools that you need to start going vegetarian and stay vegetarian easily. If you're interested in that, please be sure to check out the description box. I'll leave a link to that below. And I will also include a coupon code so that you can get the course for the price of a cookbook. Now that you know the advantages and the disadvantages of going vegetarian, I hope you will agree with me that there are far more pros than there are cons, and that the disadvantages can easily be overcome so that you can enjoy all of the rewards and benefits that a vegetarian diet has to offer. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please be sure to check out my other videos here at the Vegetarian Guide so you can learn how to go vegetarian easily. And until next time, cheers to your vegetarian adventure.